Jacob's Ladder was directed in 1990 by Adrian Lyne. The premise of this movie is about a postal worker called Jacob Singer, and Jacob Singer is, of course, played by Tim Robbins, probably in his finest role, in my opinion. So Jacob Singer is a fairly eccentric guy. He's haunted by premonitions and flashbacks from his previous marriage and also his time as a soldier in the Vietnam War. And also he's haunted by premonitions and flashbacks about his now dead son, played by Macaulay Culkin in a very early role. And this movie is quite an interesting one indeed. So it was quite a departure for Adrian Lyne, who's best known for directing Fatal Attraction, starring Glenn Close. And watching this movie, you'd think it'd be more likely to be the work of a director like David Lynch, for example, or David Cronenberg, one of the two Davids. Very cool, very interesting movie, very psychedelic movie, full of memorable scenes. And the cool thing about this movie is it is one of those nightmarish, dreamlike sort of films that I really love. Other films like this that spring to mind are movies like Suspiria or Della Morte Dell'Amore or even Amelie. And all of those films and Jacob's Ladder share one great thing in common, which is kind of being able to visualise the concept of a really authentic dream or authentic nightmare. It does really feel like someone's nightmares committed to celluloid, this film, and has a bunch of memorable scenes. It isn't a conventional horror movie, it's more of a psychological thriller. It did receive a lot of coverage in Fangoria magazine in the weeks and months leading up to its release. And it kind of didn't get a very wide release here in Australia. I first saw the film on home video, and that's probably how most people first saw this film in Australia. But yeah, Jacob's Ladder, very cool little movie. It sort of has one foot in the art house side of things and one foot in the psychological terror, horror side of things. It is a hallucinatory trip. A lot of the Vietnam flashbacks, a lot of the just weird flashbacks that the lead character has really are like something out of some kind of hallucinatory experience. It really is a cool little film. In terms of social commentary, it really does seem to be a statement about the PTSD suffered by Vietnam veterans and having trouble adjusting back to society. Has a lot of social commentary about the Vietnam conflict in particular and things like Agent Orange. One of the running themes of the movie is that Jacob Singer and his old army buddies do suspect that they were experimented upon, in a manner of speaking, with something quite like Agent Orange in a way. Apparently they were experimented on by a drug called the Ladder, which was supposed to make them the ultimate fighting machine, I guess, during the war, and create an army of supermen for Uncle Sam. And that's the basic premise of the movie, is Jacob Singer wondering whether he's losing his mind all by himself or whether Uncle Sam is to blame. So it's a very different movie. It's quite unique in its own right. As I said, it doesn't really feel like Adrian Lyne's other movies. It does feel more like a David Cronenberg or a David Lynch style movie. It's very hallucinogenic, as I said, quite like a movie like Suspiria in that regard, or Della Morte Dell'Amore. It does feel like a dream or a nightmare caught on celluloid, which is very cool. So it's not everyone's cup of tea. To say too much about the plot, the rest of the plot, and the plot twist at the end would be giving too much away, so I won't go into that at all. But definitely I'll pin the trailer in the comments below. So if you are interested in finding out more about this one before you check it out, by all means check out the trailer pinned in the comments. And if you have seen Jacob's Ladder, what were your thoughts? Did you enjoy this one? Did you not enjoy it? They did remake it recently. I haven't seen the remake. I have no real desire to. I may check it out at some stage, but it's not something that I'm running toward at this point in time. It'd be fairly hard to beat the original and to beat Tim Robbins' performance. I really think that this is a standout performance in Tim Robbins' career, and certainly my favourite Tim Robbins film. A lot of people are fans of The Shawshank Redemption. That's a great film in its own right, but I do have a soft spot for Tim Robbins in Jacob's Ladder. And a pretty cool performance by a very young Macaulay Culkin as well. So, yeah, Jacob's Ladder does come highly recommended from me, especially if you're after something strange and unusual and hallucinatory. If you're after something to watch when you can't sleep and you're hoping it'll give you nightmares, this is definitely one to check out. Otherwise, it's getting dark here now, even though it is getting later in the year and lighter a little later. But I'll see you next time. I'm off to enjoy the remainder of my evening.